Welcome to the video for the investigation of the Trestle Bridge in Adrian, Michigan. The video itself was recorded on December 6, 2024. This time we had a smaller team with us than we had on Soup Cemetery. That was quite large, but this one we scaled down a bit just for the proximity of the area. There wasn't such a large area to cover. There were hunters in the area, and these are active train tracks, so if you come up there behind us, be sure to be careful of that. The weather here was cold, low barometric pressure, and a waning crescent moon phase, which would hopefully maximize the ghost activity that didn't really seem to pan out for us.
All right, so we're out here today in Adrian at the Trestle Bridge. It's also nicknamed the Ghost Bridge. There's a couple stories that go along with this bridge, one of which is that a barn caught fire and the husband was trying to put the barn out. The wife with their infant child ran to the train tracks to try to get help with the fire, and ended up, she and the infant got unfortunately hit by the train, and the barn burnt down with the man inside of it. There's also a story about a house fire that took place in which the man ran and got hit by the train, and the woman put their infant son down, or infant child down, to go back inside the house to get the other kids out that was on fire. The house then erupted in fire or exploded, is part of the story. And the kids and the wife died in the house. Husband died by the train, and then the infant fell down the well.
And so that was on the street adjacent to the trestle.
There was only 2 samples that were captured on the spirit box, and nothing that lined up with any of the possible names that were contributed to the legend. Both legends, actually. There's a couple legends that are out in that area. It was just normal radio cycling through on the spirit box. The REM pod was completely silent. We moved it a couple times and it never once went off out of nowhere. Kind of like how we had at the cemetery. Nothing turned up on the thermal photos, and any of the photos that we really took, there was nothing significant on those.
What is your name? Is there any children here that want to talk to us right now? Did you get hurt here? Did you get hurt here?
We found the legend to be pretty inconsistent and didn't line up with any of the actual history of the area. We were unable to locate any fire reported in the papers. There was nothing in the train tracks of a house near the train tracks that had caught on fire. So this legend doesn't seem to quite line up. Near the site, there was a head-on train collision called the Holocaust of Adrian. But the legend doesn't really acknowledge that for whatever reason.
And that has a lot of history in that too. So we will be covering that one in a short expert of that one later on, probably in the summer. But there is a legend about that, and one of the locals actually located where all the bodies that were from that accident were buried, and they made a memorial in Adrian for it. So we'll cover that on a later video. But it was over 100 people that was killed in that train crash.
Yeah, head-on collision.
Yeah.
We did speak with the owner of the land. He joined us for a quick interview. He requested not to be filmed, but he didn't have any experiences to speak of himself. He's lived there for several years. He did want to mention too of the train tracks being active, so definitely don't go up on the train tracks there. You'll see on some other videos of the Trestle Bridge that people are claiming that the tracks are inactive, but that's not the case. And this road was really a lot busier than I expected it to be as well.
Okay, that's going to conclude our investigation for Trestle Bridge. We didn't get much. We're going to go over the evidence and go back and check, see if we got anything at all. Put the videos together and get everything ready for you guys. You'll see it on our page. And make sure you check the doobly-doo for our website.
I would call this legend busted. Likely made up by high school kids in the area. That's what it really seems like when we kind of review the evidence against the history. There may have been something there ghostly at one point in time, but I doubt there's anything strong enough for a full body apparition like the legend claims.
Yeah, and we had a hard time making heads or tails of where the buildings were, if there were buildings. Locals in the area tell us there were never a house there. There was never buildings on that part of the property. And then the census doesn't show any of that, any of the buildings built. And then knowing ownership of the land was kind of hard to figure out too. So we didn't get really good set names. We only got a couple names, and like we said before, none of the spirit box had anything to do with those names. So
yeah, it's been over 100 years as well, so likely the spectral energy would have dissipated by that point as well. Linus did say that the place feels flat and nowhere near the same energy we saw in Soup Cemetery.
If you enjoy these videos, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be posting more out. We've got more events and more videos set up for the spring and summer. We'll be around, and always comment. And if you have anything that you want us to kind of look at, make sure you hit us up on our webpage and email us and let us know.
Thank you.